Hey YouTube, what's up? My name is Zach7365. You can just call me Zach. And I kind of want to just do a quick local recap, deck review type of thing. Mostly I just want to dive into a deck list that I took and just kind of give my opinion on what I would do differently. And just some ideas for helping newer players out, like who are getting back into Yu-Gi-Oh! Since locals are starting to open up again, and trying to get caught up with the meta if you've been out of the game for about a year or two, like I used to be. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. Here is the PK fire list that I took to locals today. So it's pretty standard for your typical Phantom Knight lineup. We have the 3 Torn Scales, the 2 Silent Boots, the 2 Cloak, the 1 Ragged Gloves, and then we got the 3 Tour Guides, 3 Kagemucha Knights, the 1 Seer, the 1 Graph, the 1 Danger Jackalope, the 1 Danger Tsuchinoko, the 1 Psychic Wielder, 1 Psychic Tracker, 2 copies of Ash Blossom, and then your Red Eyes Black Dragon, your Dark Magician, and your Red Eyes Fusion for the Dragoon package. We also main decked the Harpy's Feather Duster. We have the Call by the Grave, Emergency Teleport, Reinforcements of the Army, and then the Phantom Knight's Rank Up Magic Force, which came out of Phantom Rage, which helps a lot with what the deck can do. For the Phantom Knight traps, we have Shade Burgundy. This is a free body, essentially. 3 copies of Fogblade, 1 copy of Sword, 2 copies of Infinite Impermanence, 2 copies of Solemn Strike, 1 copy of Imperial Order, and that rounds off the main deck, it looks like. Going into the extra deck, we have a copy of Red Eyes Dragoon, a copy of Utopic Future, a copy of Utopic Draco Future, 2 copies of Leviair. This lets you special summon a banished monster back to your field, and these 2 just happen to be the same rank, which works for making Utopic Future and then climbing up into the Draco Future, which this card is nutty. To support the Phantom Knights, we have 2 copies of Breaksword, 1 copy of Dark Rebellion, 1 copy of Dark Requiem, and then the Zeus to finish off the XZ line. Then we have our Link 1s with Link Spider, Link 2s with Verte and Cherubini. Our Link 3 is the Rusty Bardiche, and our Link 4 is Appaloosa. This could be Boral Sword if you really want to. Maybe even Access Code Talker if you're feeling so inclined, but Appaloosa seems better to me since Drytron is a scary matchup. For any deck, really. Absolutely scary matchup. Alright, and now for the side deck. Side deck, I kind of molded it to what I expected to see. A lot of the people I knew that were going to be there were people I haven't really played with since November of 2019, which was the last time I went to a locals before I kind of just went off, just kind of disappeared from Yu-Gi-Oh! Kind of let the game go and just everything else. But this seemed to be the most effective. I really didn't have any issues with the side deck. So 3 copies of Droll and Lockbird, 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More, 2 copies of Anti-Spell, 2 copies of Book of Lunar Eclipse, 2 copies of Cosmic Cyclone, 1 copy of Twin Twisters, 1 copy of Pank, and 1 copy of Red Reboot. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Book of Lunar Eclipse, how did this do? Actually, in between round 3 and 4, round 3, it was a pretty quick 2-0. We had about 28 minutes left on the clock. The dude who actually won the tournament got first. I think he went undefeated, actually. He was also like done with his match, and he asked if I wanted to play a little bit to burn the rest of the clock down. I'm like, yeah, sure. So we played against Tri Brigade with this deck. We actually opened it up pretty well. We won the dice roll, established a board he couldn't break. He scooped it up. Game 2, he went first. There was an instance where we had a Dragoon on board, and he had a Appaloosa and a Set Revolt. And it didn't matter what I did with the Dragoon was gone. Shireg was going to send the Dragoon, which was unfortunate. So we just ended up scooping that one up, and then game 3 we sighted in the lunar eclipse, and we actually saw it. I believe the hand wasn't the best, so we still ended up with the dragoon, because I think he impermed the Appaloosa, so it lost its attack and its counters. So we took the Cherubini we revived, and the Appaloosa, made Verte, made the dragoon, set the Book of a Lunar Eclipse, and we booked a Chaos Hunter and a Fractal that he had normal summon, and we basically shut him down for the turn. Then after that, time got called, and then next pairings were released. So we kind of just ended it there. He said that I had it though. I'm not too sure how the rest of it would have played out, but it goes to show that the deck can keep up with the meta, which is honestly really, really nice. All right, so that being said, overall, the deck bricks a lot. So round 1, I was going against Guru Control. Lost game 1 and then lost game 2 in time. It was really grindy, back and forth. Like, I think we had like 18 minutes left to play out game 2, and it just wasn't happening. I think we just didn't see the cards we needed, honestly. I think that's what it really boils down to. It's just the hands weren't working with us. The deck just didn't want to function properly. And that happens. And there's not much you can really do. So we did lose round 1. Round 2, we went up against Shadal Invoke Dogmatica, that just happened to be piloted, probably the best Shadal Invoke Dogmatica player that I know. And it, yeah. Yeah, we got 2-0'd. We didn't see anything. I think one of our hands was like Graph, Emergency Teleport, a Strike, Feather Duster, and a Fog Blade or something like that. And then game 2, it was a similar situation with like a Boots and nothing else to extend and get the second body on board to get into Cherubini. And it just felt bad. Other than that, I mean, games, round 3 and round 4, they were pretty much just free, like 2-0s. Took maybe like 15 minutes for 2 games. It wasn't too bad. The deck actually wanted to function when we weren't going against meta, and it's very unfortunate, but it happens. And I did apologize to the people. I told them, like, I've drawn awful all day. I am sorry that I'm doing this to you, because they were just people who enjoyed Yu-Gi-Oh. They had like just like a fan favorite deck, like a skilled Dark Magician, Enchanted Javelin, and like a Dark Magician deck, and like an Elemental Hero deck running Flame Wing Man and like Woodman and all those cards and stuff like that. I mean, they were there to have fun, and I'm like, I feel bad, but that's Yu-Gi-Oh, unfortunately. So overall, I think the list was good. Now, I would like to change it. There's a couple things that really kind of bothered me about the list. Mainly the lack of a specific Phantom Knight card that I was kind of used to. And I think I may have, like, even those good hands, I played the hand out like I had the card in the deck. And we're going to go over to it right now. And we're going to check out the original list that I made before I did all the changes, like, last minute. So, similar lineup. I mean, you got 3 Torn Scale, 2 Silent Boot, 2 Ancient Cloak, 1 Gloves, but we played the Stained Greaves in this list. This came out in Phantom Rage. If a Phantom Knight monster is special summoned to your field, you can special summon this from your hand, increase the level by 1. You can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon 1 Phantom Knight monster from your hand except for itself, then increase its level by 1. You can only use each effect once per turn. So there is a nice little combo you can do with Torn Scales and Tour Guide, where you can really just getting the Torn Scale to your hand just lets you do so much, and this helps you get it out. So like Tour Guide, summon the Graph, and then Cherubini send this, banish this, summon this, and then make your Leviair. Or use his effect, dump a card, dump the Cloak. Then, yeah, I mean, it's just free. It's just free. Also, we played the Ghost Bells, and we dropped a lot of the like the Feather Duster, the Imperial Order, and the 2 strikes in favor of the Libic, the Stained Greaves, and the 2 Ghost Bells, and just those extra, like, the testing that I did with this deck before. I mean, you can draw a Ghost Spell in a Kagemucha Knight or a Ghost Spell in like a Danger, and that's still combo. And you can still get to the same board with the Rusty, the Appaloosa for 3, the Draco Future, and then the Dark Requiem on your opponent's turn. With the stuff in the graveyard to still make the Verte on the following turn for the Dragoon. So like there was still a couple avenues of play we could have done, but it is what it is. I do have another locals tomorrow because it is technically 4 in the morning on Thursday while I'm recording this. So, yeah. I think I'll take this list with me tomorrow. And just see how it does. Like, I should have just trusted my gut instinct. I know a lot of people don't like the Libic, so there are a couple options if you want to kind of use this as a guideline for your own build. There is a card that came out, I believe in Phantom Rage, Infernity Conjurer. So while you have no cards in your hand, your monsters your opponent controls lose 800 attack. And then while you have no cards in your hand and this is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use this effect of Infernity Conjurer once per turn. So the idea of this one is you can summon it off a tour guide, or you can discard it with Torrent Scale if you see it. But it's still a level 3 monster you can normal summon, and then special summon an extender with it, and still get into your Cherubini and get into your plays to get to your break sword, get into your Rusty Bardiche, and still combo off. And have the extender for later on. That's an idea. We also have a card I really like, which is Edge Imp Sabers. If you're not familiar with this card, if this is in your grave, place 1 card from your hand on top of the deck, special summon this card in defense position. You can only use it once per turn. So the idea behind this and why it would be good is because you can discard this off of Torrent Scales, or you can summon it with Tour Guide. But if it's in the graveyard, you can special summon it by putting back the Red Eyes Black Dragon, or the Dark Magician, or the Red Eyes Fusion. Like, because these, for some reason, these cards will be glued to your hand. No idea why. So that's an option if you want to go that route instead of the Libic. Libic still has its place because you do see the graph and the seer, like as I witnessed, I think 2 times out of the 4 matches that I bricked, or the 4 games that I bricked. So that's an option. There's also this card. You cannot play Nyan Nyan since you are playing the Emergency Teleport. You can normal summon it, Kagemucha Knight, summon it. You can discard it with Torn Scales if you really need to. And then you can just save it until after you make your Appaloosa and your Rusty Bardiche and all that stuff. And then bring it back to facilitate your XE plays, to get your Leviairs going, to get your Break Sword made, and then bring back 2 Phantom Knights, make the Dark Rebellion. So that's an idea as well. This one, it's more restrictive because it has to be after you've already done everything, which I'm kind of about. Plus, it's a dark. It's not a dark, which kind of hurts. But those are like some options if you don't like the Libic, if you're looking for like something to replace this with. But I think Libic's still worth running just because of the interaction, just how often these like 5 cards love to be glued to your hand for no reason. But yeah, and there's also this little version that we had threw together forever ago, back before Draco Future came out. This is more like a budget-friendly version where you don't have to have like the Dragoon, the Zeus, the Verte. Which, speaking of Verte, check that out. We'll put Borosword there. That's not too expensive, I think. But yeah, like, so it's really similar. You just drop the Dragoon package, drop these 3 cards, put in an extra rank up Magic Force. That way you can get into your Requiem and also the Arc Rebellion, and then this card as well. So there's 2 ways you can go about this line of play. You can go Dark Requiem, effect to negate, to detach, negate, bring back a Breaksword, and then you can flip the rank up Magic Launch to make Ophion, which Ophion says, while this card has XE materials, level 5 or higher monsters cannot be special summoned. Then once per turn, detach 1 material from this, add 1 infestation. The bottom part doesn't matter. It's the floodgate of locking them out. This is a way to prevent people from being able to super poly you, unless they're playing like Mud Dragon of the Swamp or something like that. So that's an idea. You can also drop this in favor of like another hand trap if you really want to, but I felt like having 2 of these was nice because you can set this up and then revive a Breaksword to make a Breaksword, and then activate the rank up Magic Force by searching it off of the boots or setting it directly off of the Bardiche or whatever you need. Yeah, similar function, similar lines of play too. It's just the inboard's a little bit different. All in all, I mean, it does pretty well. Like, I'd play this variant, but with like the Dragoon package instead of some of these cards, and it didn't do too bad. But overall, I think this list was fine. If you want more of this play style, I say go for it. Like, it felt really good whenever it actually worked, but I think I was just stuck in the mindset and also a little bit nervous because I haven't really played with some of those people in like 2 years. So it was nice to see them, but like at the same time I was like shaking with the knee bobbing and all that. So yeah. Anyway, guys, if you like this type of content, let me know. I mean, I enjoy just talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Kind of giving my opinion and kind of diving deeper into understanding the theory behind deck building and just everything else. If you got any ideas for spicy text, maybe you have your own PK Fire list you'd like to share, more than welcome to. I will leave written out deck lists of all 3 of these if you'd like in the description, because I know I kind of grazed over it. I can also do some combo videos too if anyone would want those. Just sound off in the comments, let me know. Other than that, guys, that's really all I got to say. I'm gonna probably throw this build back together and then go sleep because I have to work a 16-hour shift tomorrow. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you got this far, I love you as a friend. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe if you haven't. And until next time, peace.